Captain Thane Vex stood at the observation deck of the Koroth warship Bloodclaw, watching the primitive blue-green world rotate slowly beneath him. For 3 cycles, the Koroth had dominated this sector of the galaxy, their reputation as the only known Deathworlders making them legendary among the peaceful species of the Galactic Council. "Such a beautiful death trap," growled his second-in-command, Lieutenant Crix. Her 4 eyes gleamed with predatory satisfaction as she studied the tactical displays. "Look at those radiation levels, Captain. The magnetic storms. The violent weather patterns. No civilized species could survive down there." Thane nodded, his mandibles clicking with approval. The Koroth had evolved on Vortak Prime, a world of crushing gravity, toxic atmosphere, and creatures that would make council diplomats faint from sheer terror. It had made them strong, aggressive, and utterly convinced of their superiority over the soft, pampered species that inhabited garden worlds. "Begin the bombardment," Thane ordered. "We'll strip mine this system and move on to the next. The Council's expansion ends here." The first plasma volley was already charging when something impossible happened. Ships rose from the planet's surface, not the sleek, crystalline vessels of the Council races, but crude, angular things that looked like they'd been welded together in a scrapyard. They moved with surprising agility despite their ungainly appearance. "Captain," Crix's voice carried a note of uncertainty. "I'm reading life signs aboard those vessels. But that's impossible. Nothing could evolve intelligence on a world this hostile." The first human ship reached weapons range and opened fire. The Koroth shields, designed to withstand Council energy weapons, buckled under the assault of kinetic rounds moving at relativistic speeds. Thane staggered as his flagship shook. "What manner of savages are these?" he roared, watching more ships swarm up from the planet like angry insects. "They're using solid projectiles. What kind of Deathworlder uses such primitive?" The communications array crackled to life, and a voice spoke in heavily accented galactic standard. "Koroth vessel, this is Admiral Rebecca Martinez of the Sol Defense Force. You have exactly 30 seconds to withdraw from our system before we turn your ships into scrap metal." Thane's blood ran cold. Not because of the threat, but because of what he heard beneath the words. This Martinez spoke like someone who had stared into the abyss and found it wanting. Like someone who had faced down predators that made Vortak's nightmare fauna look like pets. "You dare threaten the Koroth?" he broadcast back. "We are the apex predators of the galaxy. We are the only species to survive a true death world." A sound came over the channel that chilled Thane's warrior heart. Laughter. Not the polite amusement of council diplomats, but the harsh, bitter laughter of someone who had seen friends die and kept fighting anyway. "Apex predators?" Martinez's voice carried dark humor. "Friend, we crawled out of the African savanna dodging lions and hyenas. We survived ice ages that would have frozen your blood solid. We've been killing each other with increasingly creative methods for 10,000 years, and somehow that made us stronger. You think you're scary because your world has big teeth? We are the big teeth." More human ships emerged from the planet's shadow, massive, brutal-looking vessels bristling with weapons that belonged in a museum of warfare. Each one bore scars and hasty repairs that spoke of countless battles fought and won. "Impossible," Crix whispered. "How can there be 2 Deathworlder species in the same galaxy?" Through the viewports, Thane watched human fighters perform maneuvers that should have liquefied their pilots. He saw their ships take damage that would cripple Koroth vessels and keep fighting. Most terrifying of all, he realized that these humans weren't just surviving their violent world, they had thrived on it, turned their planet's hostility into a forge that had created something unprecedented. The Koroth had conquered through superior strength and aggression, believing themselves unique in their adaptation to violence. But humans had done something different. They had turned warfare into an art form, cooperation into a survival strategy, and their world's attempts to kill them into the foundation of an unstoppable civilization. "Captain," his weapons officer called out, "multiple human vessels have achieved firing solutions." "Orders?" Thane stared at the tactical display, watching humanity's children of war surround his forces with casual efficiency. For the first time in his military career, he gave an order he never thought he would speak. "Signal the fleet. Full retreat." Some Deathworlders, he realized, were more death than others.